Start building some hurting bombs.
Pressing me? Because your authority is not recognized in Fort Kickass.
Look, Doc, I just can't do it, huh? Never learned to speak Greek.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I don't need no philosophy lesson here.
And I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
Master of misinformation, Mr. Know-It-All.
Is he always so cheerful?
See, you told everyone your deepest, darkest secret.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe.
Just looking, thanks. I'll stand at the bar. I shouldn't wish to attract attention.
Don't get mentally erect.
Well, neither are you very much sure.
This is the way.
I think it's good, except it sucks.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
That's an attention getter.
The tower of power, too sweet to be sour. I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
Are you ready?
Hey, we're still here live at Free Comic Book Day from Milford, Connecticut, right here at Alternate Universe. I'm just kind of flabbergasted right now. We just got bad news. Comic book legend George Perez has just passed away. Heavy heart to actually announce that in such a day in our industry. First we lose Neil a couple weeks ago. Now George Perez, big influence on a lot of different people, especially on me with the iconic Supergirl, Superman cover Crisis #8, working on Wonder Woman, worked on basically everybody. Wonder
Teen Titans.
Yes, I know. It's just I'm flabbergasted. I'm trying to think of all the stuff that George brought to me in my life, and I just can't do it right now. I mean, the pictures of George and I together. It's just I met George a million times. Well, a million. You know what I mean. It's just hard to actually talk about right now. I know you met George.
Oh yeah, and a really nice guy, genuinely authentic, nice guy. Like sticks around to make sure everybody left with a signature or a sketch or whatever he was doing that day. And one of the most iconic artists of my youth, with the, like you mentioned, so much Wonder Woman, Teen Titans, Avengers, all like genuinely legendary runs on all those books.
What was your first interaction with George?
When I was really young, I met him at a show, and he was just super nice to me. Him and guys like Walt Simonson were really influential. Meeting them as a really young person and saying like, hey, there's some really cool people who work in the comic book industry. Maybe I should do this. He was one of those guys.
I remember I first met George at Boston Comic Con before, I started doing the vlogging and public access TV and podcasting and everything. But then when I started becoming Lewis from the Angrygeeks, it was like, then he started to know who I was. What was really funny was every time I had a book to sign, he was, stop it. George, stop it. Stop it. You're always bugging me. And it was so funny because he had this most unique way of greeting his fans where you had to take a number. It was like a lottery. Mm-hmm. Remember how you come back, because he, like Jack said, he wanted you to understand. He wanted to meet all of his fans, make sure everyone got his signature, everyone got his got a head sketch, everyone got something, and he was a rose in a garden of snakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know,
really authentically nice guy.
Yeah, I mean that's the way to explain George Perez, a rose in a garden of snakes. Plain and simple.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, wow, it kind of changed the mood of the day right here when it was just reported to us. Eric came over and said, next time you guys are, you got a comment. And yeah, Thomas Smith, hey, brother, how you doing? Thomas Smith, R.I.P. George. Yeah, it's very sad. Very somber mood right now here. Sorry to bring this and report this on everyone, but what was your fondest memory of George? Of hanging out when I'm meeting him? Anything?
Just really, always a really genuine smile on his face, and just one of those guys who, when you went up to him, you're like, hey, you know what? That run of the Avengers changed my life. It really made me want to work in comics. He always didn't just say like, oh yeah, nice, next. It was always like eye to eye contact. He smiled, like a very genuine smile, and had some very real conversation. I only spoke with him for a few minutes. I can not tell you I knew him personally. I was just one of the many fans who wanted a minute just to thank him for all of his work, and I'm really glad I got to.
Yeah. My thing is, I'll never forget a good friend of mine, Tim Wiley, received a kiss from George because Tim did his Deathstroke cosplay, and George actually left his table, walked over, kissed Tim, signed Tim's Deathstroke helmet. It was the funniest thing. I have that picture somewhere in the Geek Lair, and it was just, to me, it made me feel good, because Tim, absolutely, he cared, but it was just a moment where George was just like, look at this. This is fantastic. George just stopped what he was doing. He was actually drawing something for a fan. Stopped, ran over, kissed Tim on the cheek. And I have a photo, signed it. And it was like, here you go. Uncle Joe Goulart is in the house. And Joe says, first time I met George was at Yako's show in Bridgeport. Then had the honor to work with him at the shows on many occasions. Remember, George signed, oh my God, a couple books for me, plus my big not Wonder Woman, my cover. I have a poster of the cover, Crisis 8. Again, I'm flabbergasted right now. And he signed it. Plus, he signed Crisis 8, the actual book.
Nice.
Signed Wonder Woman #1 for me. It's like I said, every time he saw me, Lewis, please come on, get out of here. But he was such a joy to be around.
Yeah, really joyful guy. Very, always hugging fans, and never in a way where anyone felt like, oh, maybe this doesn't feel right. Just, you felt the joy when he was at these shows. It was never a burden. You never saw grumpy George Perez. It was just, he was always in a up mood. I guess that's maybe the best.
Yeah, and I do. And Pam said that was a great show. I do have a story about that show. Unfortunately, due to contracts, I can't say it on air. And
just whisper into my ear, I'll say it.
No, I can't, because it has to do with a certain individual. And George actually played a joke on that individual, and it's hilarious. And I can't say it due to Attorney Norris will be very angry at me. But it's a hilarious story. I will tell you privately, and I'll tell you off air, because you'll laugh about it. We actually just talked about this individual a little while ago. See, Jack knows now why I can't say the story on the air, but I just talked about this individual. So, and George played a joke on this guy, and I thought it was hilarious. So I cannot say it on air, but your face is red, so you know where I'm going. But again, George, rest in peace. Love you, miss you, gonna miss you. Wow. We're here at Alternate Universe LLC. Come on down, get some free comics, buy some stuff for sure. The back issue bins are rammed with goodness, and you can buy some George Perez stuff here. I mean, Wonder Woman, Avengers, Thor, you name it, the man worked on it. Let's continue talking about George. Uncle Joe comes in and says, George made a point to always do a mass group photo with all the cosplayers, no matter what con he was at. Yeah, yep, that is true. What is your favorite work of art from George?
Oh, man, there's just So much. I don't know. I think the classic cover to Teen Titans #1 is one that always sticks with me.
Oh my God. The white background, Robin running. Oh my God. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that book changed my life as a comic book reader. It took it to the next level.
Yep.
Not that I didn't love Neil Adams and all the other guys who came before, but George's work, man, blew me away as a young person. Just thought, whoa, like this is mind-numbing. Just the atmosphere he'd create. And everybody looked like an individual. He didn't have that knack that some artists have where everyone kind of looked the same. You know, they kind of looked a bit generic.
He did make everyone an individual.
Yeah.
You know, he had that knack about him. What drew me, pardon the pun, to George's work, and again, it's that iconic Crisis #8.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, Crisis was what an unbelievable undertaking that project was.
Yeah, and you, as you were reading Crisis, and when book 8 came out, that iconic cover, it's everyone knows what that cover is. Superman sitting there holding Supergirl, beaten, bloodied, crying. Any kid, and we all know how I feel about Superman.
We do.
Okay. To see the Man of Steel sitting there crying. Even Uncle Joe knows how I feel about Superman. To see the Man of Steel sitting there crying and holding his cousin in his hand, it just blew me away. So being a young kid, seeing that cover and George's art style just blows you away. So, I mean, that cover for me was just unbelievable. But then again, you have his work on Wonder Man, and then you have his work on the Avengers. I mean, it's just like, wow.
Yeah, Crisis really is worth ranting and raving about. If there's anyone who hasn't read Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's back even at a time where maybe just as a naive kid, I thought that death mattered in comic books, and at that point it felt like it did. Like he made it feel like it mattered. Like Supergirl was a real individual. She wasn't a generic female character with the same body and the same face, different colored hair. That book had so much personality, and like when George drew Superman, it didn't look like anybody else's Superman. You wouldn't mix him up with Kurt Swan or anyone else's.
No, you wouldn't. He gave everyone individuality. Uncle Joe comes in. Joe Goulart. George will always be my go-to artist for his revitalization of Wonder Woman. Yeah. Again, he my signed Wonder Woman wraparound cover, issue #1. He was the inspiration for the Wonder Woman movie, I think, because I saw a lot of his doing in the Wonder Woman movie, the first one. We took a hard hit today, for sure.
Really, being on Free Comic Book Day too. Yeah, for sure. And we knew it was coming. He was in poor health for quite some time. But man, incredible, truly legendary artist. I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but this one, it's meaningful.
And Wolfie comes in with a comment: is the Troublemint twins, Lewis said, and Jack. Yeah, Wolfie, happy Free Comic Book Day. Wow. It's just very, very, very sad to hear this news today.
Yeah, I mean, he was truly a giant in the comic book industry, and there's not too many of them. And Neil Adams just passing recently is another one who, it's just one of those things. Like when you use the term legend with these guys, it absolutely fits. They did work that's worthy of that word. And yeah, I mean, I want to go back and review some of my George Perez art now, and I've got so many trades. And again, I go back in my Avengers collection, and that run he did was just unbelievable. Guys like him and John Byrne did outrageous stuff that totally bent my mind and made me want to get involved in this industry.
Yeah, I too, for sure. I want to go back and just just at a loss right now. We are celebrating Free Comic Book Day right here at Alternate Universe LLC. We're going to be still here for a short amount of time more, but the doors will be open. Free Comic Book Day all day today. Bring the kids down, buy some stuff, and pick up a free comic book. Kid-friendly books are out. You can get Spidey and His Amazing Friends. We still have some of these out on the shelf. artwork in this is fantastic. Plus, they got some connect the dots for the kids as well inside this book. This is it's right there. Connect the dots for the kids. Look at that. No, it's for the kids. Also, this book, I might keep this for myself. I keep bringing this book up. I'm going to try and pick up the pace here a little bit. Is Max Meow's Cat on the Street. This looks pretty cool right here. I might keep this for myself. And speaking of Crisis, looks like DC is at it again with Dark Crisis Special Edition, free comic book day, available at your local LCS. Make sure to come on down and pick that up.
Oh my God, are the Justice League gonna die?
I guess so.
Oh, more new number one.
Yeah, I know. And then of course we got Marvel is at it with the Avengers, X-Men, and the Eternals with Judgment Day, another free comic book day book. And we also have some other free kid friendly books with Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, and the best of 2020 AD. I Am the Law. Nice. Judge Dredd. Well, I can't get my head off the subject of George Perez's passing right now and his artwork and how much influence he has on so many people. I can't name a character that George did not work on.
Yeah, remember, was it Marvel Fanfare, the Black Widow story that he did? It might have been 2 issues. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and it's like the only Marvel Fanfare book that people want.
Well, the first 2 issues are pretty good too.
Yeah. True. But you go to your key collector, and those are the ones that everyone are looking for. He touched every character. I mean, he was like the go-to guy, and
especially with team books. I mean, because there aren't a lot of people who could do team books
and make everyone individual.
That's the thing. I mean, it becomes very generic a lot of the time. And I get it, like drawing that many figures and doing it over and over in all these panels, but he never skimped. And if Crisis on Infinite Earths doesn't prove that to you, I don't know what will, because every page was loaded.
He excelled at doing that. George, it seemed to me that he enjoyed doing what he did. I mean, every con I seen him at, he enjoyed. To me, it seemed he enjoyed being there. He enjoyed talking to his fans. He enjoyed drawing. He enjoyed just being in the community, saying hi, shaking hands. I'm not going to be the goofy Lewis. I got to be serious. He enjoyed shaking hands. He enjoyed, kissing people on the cheek. He just enjoyed being there. And it was just, cool for him.
He was a joyous person.
Yeah, he was. He was. I never once seen him, being, I seen a lot of artists who would be, grumpy. I've seen a lot of the legends, just like blow people off, but not George.
Never. I'd never seen that. And I've done shows that he's been at many, many times, and he's just always in a good mood. And it really, again, I use the word authentic with him, but always.
That's a correct term. Like I said, a rose in a garden of snakes. He was authentic. He was genuinely a happy-go-lucky guy in those shirts.
The shirts were the best. They were busy, just like his.
Yeah, yes. Oh my God, those Hawaiian shirts were just something else, and people called him Uncle George. And it was just, he was just an amazing individual. I feel bad for people that never had a chance to actually meet him.
I remember when Cross-Gen Comics grabbed him, I thought, what an incredibly smart move. Whatever you offered him to go there. And he said in an interview, I remember, that they treated him very well financially, and it made sense for him to go away from Marvel and DC to do it. But I just thought, like, wow, if you were going to pick somebody to steal from Marvel or DC, you picked the right guy. And he really enhanced that brand.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely cherry picking. It was
100%. Yeah.
It was 100%. You couldn't go wrong. And you've seen whatever was done live action. You've seen George's influence. The Titans TV show. You've seen George's influence. Arrow. You've seen George's influence. Supergirl. You see during Crisis 3 years ago, when they had Crisis on it, live action on CW with the Annie Monitor, you actually saw Crisis cover number 8. You saw Tyler holding.
It's one of the most parodied covers of all time.
Exactly. So, again, to the whole Perez family, you have our condolences. Wolfie is coming in. Wasn't George the creator of Firestorm? I know he worked on the early issues, but I thought he was the creator.
I don't remember.
I don't
think so. I thought it was wasn't it Marv Wolfman?
I think it was Marv Wolfman, but I do know that he did drum. But I
Extremely well.
Very well. But I think that he did work on Firestorm, but I'm not sure if he actually created them. I don't want to. We have a lot of people in the store, so I really don't want to yell across the store to ask Eric, because I'm not 100% sure if I'm a fountain of useless information.
You got a lot.
Well, right now I actually, Jack, talk to the audience while I look something up really quick.
The fact that both of us have to wonder about whether he did it or not makes me think he didn't, but it's a good point. I mean, I think all of our listeners must also have fond memories. I mean, Joe has shared a few about their favorite work that Perez did. And I remember, like I said, Marvel Fanfare was at the time one of my favorite books. And you had guys like Michael Golden and John Byrne and George doing different work and Paul Smith. I mean, all of my favorites really were on that book at that time. So I have to go back and reread my Black Widow issues. I don't remember if he did any other work at the time.
No, the writer of, I don't know if he was actually created, but Jerry Conway, Al Milgrom actually worked on Firestorm #1. So, no, I do not believe so. And Firestorm #1 was released in 1978, but it was Jerry Conway and Al Milgrom. Wow, I'm still at a super loss here. We had so much, and we just had the Justice League and Avengers, the book that we were just going that was going around to all your LCSs, raising money for George.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, and
the Hero Initiative.
Yes, that's right. Just insane right now to even think about this.
Well, he certainly left, a really serious
impression,
permanent mark on the comic book industry. I mean, yeah, it's
part of the pun.
One of those few artists who has really, truly created a body of work that's unforgettable. Crisis just on its own. If that was all he ever did, it would have been incredible.
Oh yeah.
But then all these other titles that we've been talking about, to be able to have that much success on that many titles and with that type of complexity is really outrageous. So. We're sorry to hear this bad news. Unfortunately, we knew it was coming, but really an artist who I think I want to spend tomorrow reviewing some of my favorites.
Yeah, that's it for Free Comic Book Day. I'm sorry to end it on such a bad note, but for this segment, we just got to take a break. I'm kind of at a loss.
That's a rare moment.
Yeah, I know it is. Jack, please tell everyone where they can find your Patreon and get some work.
Yeah, if you didn't make it to Free Comic Book Day down here at Alternate Universe, you can go find me on Patreon. There's a few levels you can support me on. One of them, you can get a really good deal on a commission if you're interested. Your favorite character. Can't guarantee I'll give you a George Perez level piece, but I'll do my best. And you can find me at Jack Purcell Inc. on Facebook and Instagram. And you can find me with this guy on Faces and Heels at Faces and Heels on Facebook, Faces and Heels Podcast on Instagram.
And make sure you find me each and every Monday night with that Wonder Woman, Jamie Dolan, on the Angrygeeks Show. And make sure November 4th through the 6th, Rhode Island Comic Con, the 10th anniversary show. This is going to be what we call in the wrestling industry a banger. Make sure you go to this. This convention is going to be the best of the best. It's going to have everything there. I mean, the guests so far they got lined up is just crazy. Stephen Amell, Jackie Earle Haley, Alicia Silverstone. The Mandalorian cast is coming back. Just wait till you see who they have lined up next. Anyway, I'm Jack. He's Jack. I'm Lewis. I'm shocked. I'm shocked right now. Hey, we're going to take a break, and thank you, Wolfie. We'll talk to you guys soon.